Well, hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, everyone. It is Friday. So excited to be here with you all. It's about 12:14 afternoon time, Central Standard Time. I'm in Birmingham and I am live and with you here today for Focus on It Friday. Come on in, grab a friend and come on in. Now, when I say grab a friend, honey, I mean, go ahead and tag all the people that you know need to be here for this because today we're going to be talking about what is the big deal about ADHD. Dr. Brandy B is always talking about ADHD, but why? Why in the world would a girl care to talk about ADHD as much as I do? We're going to talk about it today. You know, I need to go ahead and set everything up over here so that while the people in the back that I don't have hired yet are working very hard, I'm going to be making sure that we are sharing. I'm helping them out, helping the people in the back out. You know how we help them out. All right, all right, all right. So, what's the big deal about ADHD? We're going to talk about it. Come on, come on, come on. Somebody said, oh my goodness, I never get a chance to see you. Well, um, here you are. Come on in. Let's talk about it. 6 of you all are already here. So you all know exactly what the deal is. And maybe you don't know. But guess what? We are going to talk about it today. We're going to talk about it today. I am so excited. I am so excited. Let me get my comments pulled up. Miss Trisha King is waiting. Hi. So nice to have you. Lish Wills is watching. Miss Anquinetta Lewis Harrison is watching. Oh my goodness, you all are just making me so excited. So excited. I'm so excited. Miss Athena Dixon is watching. Let's see. Do I have anybody else? Miss Harry. Mary Hinkle is here. She is watching. Dr. Erica Watkins Thompson is watching. Hello, hello, hello to each of you. Miss Michelle Parker says, hey, hey, beautiful. And right back at you, darling. Let's see who else is here. Doctor, I'm sorry. I need to put some respect on your name, girl. I called that lady Lish Wills, but we better call her Dr. Lish Wills because that's right. She just got her doctorate. That is my high school classmate. I am so super proud of her. Oh my goodness. And her cute little doll baby girl who is absolutely beautiful as well. Congratulations, Dr. Lish Wills. And thank you for joining us today. Miss Destiny Stevens is here. You and Emily are here. She says, hey, only on for a minute, about to go to work. Well, we hope that you have a great shift, that it is without incident. Jay Bellamy, welcome. Hello. And Dr. Lish Will says, thank you. LOL, girl. That's right, honey. Put some respect on your name. That is right. Who else is watching with us today? Anybody else? We've got Miss Gwendolyn McMickens Williams. She is watching with us today. Miss Angelica Langford is watching as well. And we appreciate you all so much. Well, we are going to go ahead. Did you all go ahead and share the video? Did you tell your friends? Did you tag the ones that you know may not care? Go ahead, tell them we're over here and we are about to learn what the big deal is about ADHD. Miss Gwendolyn is waving. Hello, 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 hello. Miss Jill Murner McBrayer is watching. I think she might be new to the show. Hello and welcome. My sister-in-law, the beautiful Erica Harris, is watching. Hello, my auntie Brenda Rudolph. She says good afternoon and good afternoon to you, beautiful. We hope you are feeling well today. Mama Rudolph is watching. She is in the building. Hi, Mommy. Thank you for joining. I skipped over Miss Cassandra Abernathy. She's watching. And we say hello to you as well. Oh, Lord, Miss Destiny fell off the porch. Girl, did you not know the porch was there? Oh, my goodness. We hope that you are feeling well. We hope that you are healed and out of that boot very, very soon. And Mama says, hello, Dr. Brandy B. Miss Dina Maxwell Stafford is back. We thank you for coming. And she is tagging over her friends, telling them, get over here right now. This is where you need to be on a Friday afternoon. We appreciate it. Y'all know I have to go between two devices. So there's the one I look at you on, and then there's the one where I can see who's watching. I can only see comments if you make one over here. So if you want to be certain that I see you and that I know you're here, go ahead and make a comment. Otherwise, I have to look over here and hope that I just see where Facebook reminds me that you are watching. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I think I've spoken to everyone at this point, so I will go ahead and get started. I am Dr. Brandy B, your triple board certified child and adolescent psychiatrist, and through my Facebook live stream, Focus on It Friday, my best-selling book, Shine, Understanding ADHD So Your Child Can Be a Star, my outpatient practice, my inpatient practice, my concierge practice, my speaking engagements. I help worried moms, dads, educators, and all who love children, and especially those with ADHD and other special needs, get the education that they need so that their children can be a star. That is what we are wanting to do over here. Let's see. I saw another. You need to watch this. Michelle Parker is tagging some people. Yes, 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 yes. I really just want to say, before we even get started, thank you all so much, because many of you all are here every Friday. And I want you to know that, today I was like, I don't think I'm going to do it. And I was like, the heck you say, girl, those people are going to be waiting. So we have to get up, get going, and give it what it is that you are looking for on Focus on It Friday. Now, somebody said, I can't stand acronyms. Well, guess what, honey? This is not the show for you, because I love them. I love myself a good acronym. So go ahead. You might not remember what it means. It might not mean anything to you after this, but for me, it is everything. And so big deal is a big deal. Anything that's a big deal is a big deal. Can everybody say big deal? Big deal. Just say it out loud. Big deal. Okay. So if something is a big deal, we want to figure out, why is it a big deal? Why in the world would one lady spend all of her time, devote time away from her family, beg parents sometimes? If I got energy, if I got a lot of energy, I beg. If I don't, I'm like, okay, whatever, that's your child. And it's always your child. But sometimes I feel a little bit more compelled to convince you or to explain why it is that you ought to be as concerned about ADHD as I am, because it's a big deal. And so we want to talk about why it is a big deal. Why it's a big deal. Michelle Parker says, Ashley, Brooke, Frederick, Yearwood, this will help Cassandra with Skylar. So go ahead and get Cassandra in here so we can get Skylar some help. Yes, yes, yes. Mama says it is a big deal. It is a big deal. It's a big deal. So why? Let's talk about it. So that's an acronym. The B is, first thing we need to remember, the B, bad. They are not. The kids with ADHD are not bad. The adults with ADHD are not bad. But do they make some bad decisions? Heck yeah, because they're impulsive. Michelle Davis Dash says, girl, my son said he wasn't going to try not to take his meds this year. So we ramped up our executive skills training, and we are going to try. He said he was going to try not to take his meds this year. So, okay, so he's going to try not to take them. Now, remind me again, Dr. Michelle, what grade is your son this year? Lord, we're going to pray that she does not write any odd number. Go ahead and just lift up prayers right now that she is not going to type any odd number, because we already know if you come over here and listen to me on Fridays, okay, I'm okay with him trying in the 6th grade. It still may not be a good idea, but we're going to give him this year. But you're going to have to be mama and help him decide. But we might give him this year. But remember, these kids are not bad. That's your B. They're not bad. They're not bad. All right? All right. No odd numbers. Odd numbers are bad, Dr. Leash. Now, you know why. Better than I do. They tell me, my educator friends do, and you'll know better about this than I do. Dr. Lish Wills is a doctor of education. We have to put some respect on her name here forth and forevermore. But I understand that in odd numbered grades, new standards are introduced and material is taught. And these are also test taking years. And then a lot of schools will start changing classes in those odd number grades as well, even as young as 3rd grade. So 3rd, 5th, 7th. Dr. Lish, no one usually comes to me in 9th grade because people assume that, their grades are supposed to decline. It's high school. They're adjusting. Wrong answer. It's about as wrong as saying a second child, a male child, a female child, any kind of child isn't talking because of blank. They're the second child. They're the boy child. Their sisters are talking for them. And if the child isn't talking, the child isn't talking. I don't care what order they are. I don't care if they're 6. We got to take care of that. So those odd number grades, see, that is correct. Yeah, I do not want to be a teacher until 10th grade, right? So I upset my immediate ancestors. Both my grandmothers are educators. And so I upset the ancestors when I decided in 10th grade, I was not going to be an educator. But look at me. Am I not teaching now? I'm teaching you all. So this is very exciting. She says, girl, I'm trying to give them a little rope and a little autonomy. And that is great, because when we can get the kids and the parents and everybody to buy in and understand, then it makes it just easier, right? Because as parents, sometimes we get tired of fighting with these kids, don't we? That's why we say, here's the phone. Here's the car you've been wanting. Don't take the medicine. Because we just tired, y'all. We are tired. Can anybody say tired in the chat? Are we tired? Just worn out with begging these parents. But at work, we got to beg the workers. We got to beg the co-workers. We got to plead with the boss. We got to plead with the customer. We got to plead with the spouse. Then when it get to them kids, sometimes we just worn out. And so what do we say? Fine, don't take it this year. Dr. Brandy said it's an even number year. And we just gonna roll with it this first 6 or 9 weeks, and we will reassess after that. Just tired. Everybody on here is tired. My God, we are tired. So guess what we're not gonna be doing? Going back and forth with these kids about this medicine, especially if they're in an even number year. We just gonna let them have it. Mama say, just how Michelle gave us all the exclamation points. Tanisha, hello, doctor. Listen, Dr. Michelle said, whoa out. We ain't gonna never get through this acronym because we're gonna have to stop and shout right here on the B. Tired, says Angelica. Alethea, hello. She says, tired. Somebody said, I don't want to come to your show because you just talk about ADHD. Girl, we over here talking about whatever we want to talk about. And right now we are talking about the fact that mamas are tired. Mamas are tired. Listen, they don't ever show us on these shows where these people take these capes off and wash, dry clean, fold, and relax them. But y'all better understand, Carl Kent, when he was that his name, Carl Kent? I don't know, honey, but whatever and whoever he is, he went into that booth and he came out of the suit and he put the cape on. But we wear this cape everywhere we go, at home, at school, at work, in the car. You know, we don't ever get a chance to rest the cape. Who out there is caught in the middle? Let me see you right. Caught in the middle. If you got your own kids you're trying to raise and your parents you're trying to raise too. Who is that? Who caught in the middle? I'm caught in the middle. Anybody else caught in the middle? Where you have parents you're trying to take care of, meet all of their needs, and then you got kids. Anybody else caught in the middle, or is it just me? Anybody caught in the middle? Clark Kent. Clark Kent, that's it. Clark Kent. Y'all know I don't watch that kind of stuff. I don't watch any of that. Who's caught in the middle? Let me see you raise your hand. Right. Caught in the middle. Dr. Lish Will says, ooh, loud, she caught in the middle. Caught in the middle. And she's got a little bitty baby girl. Well, she's about 3, I think now. 3. Who else is caught in the middle? Tanisha says she is caught in the middle. She is raising hers and teaching. Do husbands count? Yes, they count, girl. Yes, that's double. Husbands are double the kids. Okay, so if you got kids, then you got husbands, then you got parents, honey. You are caught in a love triangle. Okay, somebody said they caught in a love triangle. Mama, what you caught in the middle of? Look at y'all. Y'all see my mama? Y'all see her? Talk about she caught. Mama, what are you caught in? No. We talk about people who are parenting their parents and parenting their kids. Mama talking about she caught. Mama, no. Nice try, though. Miss Trisha is waving, honey. Woo, Law says Laretha Ryan Spillers. Dr. Michelle says, girl, husbands be the worst. You know what I'm talking about? They are the worst, honey. The worst. Dr. Erica says she's got a love triangle going on. Yes, Tanisha. Look, so this is what I'm saying. We either caught in the middle or we got a love triangle with husbands, children, and parents. And some of us are just caught up in entanglements because you got your work people that you got to throw in there too. Somebody, are y'all in entanglements out there? Y'all know what I'm talking about when, let's see what the people name. Will Smith and his wife, honey, she said it was an entanglement, right? So we got the husbands, the children, the parents, and the work boss who act like they can't do nothing without us. Somebody is caught up in an entanglement. So we got off track. Let me get back where we're going. Y'all gonna get me all off track. We're not gonna do that today. Jada Pinkett Smith. Yes, honey. She said an entanglement. That meant that it was just difficult to explain. So we are beyond the triangle because we got all these other people that think that they are entitled to us as well. Okay. So when the kids say we're not gonna take the medicine because it all relates. then we just say, okay, son, we're going to give you a 6-week, 9-week, a semester period this whole year. All right, just don't let them fail. But let me get back to my thing. B, bad, a big deal. The kids are not bad. And I want you all to understand that the kids are not bad. These children with ADHD, children in general, they want to do their very best to impress us. Believe it or not, they really want to. They really want to get all A's. Yes, Auntie Brand says, please pray for her daughter who has 2 young ones and her. And they are all entangled. And see, and that is good. Listen, and right now, Lord, we just ask that you would bless all the children, Lord. All the children who are caught in the middle, caught in love triangles, caught in entanglements with their parents, Lord, with their kids, with their bosses. Lord, if we throw in a baby's daddy or any other drama, we just pray, Lord, right now that you would just make that situation all right. In Jesus' name. But when the parents understand that we are doing the best we can, well, because we got to go to work, right? And nobody told us they were going to take care of us. So we still got to go to work. All right. When they can understand that, Lord, it just makes for a better situation. Because my mama's quick to say, now I know you got a husband. And I appreciate that because we're going to do what we can. But these little kids require a lot. But bad. The kids are not bad. They are not bad. And so when you catch yourself saying bad, I want you to rephrase that and think of something good that your child does. For about the last 3 months or so, I've started every conversation off with, tell me one thing good that has happened in the last month. And it's surprising how many parents, they're like, oh, and then I say good, and they don't know what to say because they are primed and they have a list written of all the negative, the bad things that their child has done. And I said, let's talk about, tell me one thing that this child has done that was great. They can't come up with anything. So we don't want that to be you. We want to remember all these mantras and affirmations that we talk about. And we want to be able to turn all those negative things into a good one. So make sure that at least once a day, you're telling your child you love them, right? Because remember, my mama told me 2 things all the time, or 3. I love you, no, and you're beautiful. That was all I needed to do whatever I wanted to do, okay? And the no was important because the no's that she told me helped me to get where I am because I had some barriers, some groundings, right? And so those were the no's. And kids need that, right? They need our attention, they need our love, and they need for us to tell them no, to give them restrictions, guidelines. They need that. And so many kids right now don't have that. They are missing someone to tell them, I love you. They are missing someone to tell them no and to do it in love and to be consistent, right? Because, yeah, sometimes we do get tired and we give in. But when you're dealing with a child like one who might have ADHD and heaven forbid oppositional defiant disorder or ODD, they need those guidelines, they need those restrictions, and they need them done consistently by all involved parties. So if anybody is letting them slide by, grandmamas, this is where we really need you all to help us. If we have a rule, yeah, sure, you can give them some ice cream. If we told them no, sure, you could do that. But if we tell them that their bedtime is X, Y, and Z, or they need to get off the phone at X, Y, and Z, we need you to enforce that. Help us to enforce that. By you not doing it, you don't think of it as such, but that is the beginning of believing that what we say doesn't matter. And that is the beginning of them undermining our judgment. So if you can work with us on that, when Johnny is 5, when Johnny then turns 15 and can stand over us, because I'm only 5'1". I sound mighty. My voice is mighty. My body is not. It is tiny. Mighty voice, tiny body. Okay. So I need to be able to look up at this child and still be able to say, sit down, and it matters, right? But I believe in talking to my kids too, right? Because there's a mutual respect. I get respect because I'm your mama, and also because I give you respect, right? To talk to me, to converse with me, for us to have an understanding. And we got to understand. Everybody says we need to go back to the old days. Like somebody said, some of this stuff didn't work in the old days. Hello. Okay, we're really honest. But the other thing is that these kids have access to phones, to devices, to all kind of stuff. So because I said so, may not work for them. They are really inquisitive and they want to know why. And when it's reasonable and there's time, it's not probably not a bad idea to explain to them why. Mama, why do I have to take this medicine? Well, son, let's talk about it. Daughter, let's talk about it. Before you found this medicine, you were making all F's. When you started taking this medicine, you made all A's. So you tell me, why do you need to take the medicine? Oh, you feel like you don't need it anymore? Okay, let's try that. I think that's completely reasonable. I really do. So we need to make sure that, though, that we understand the B in big deal is that they are not bad. These are not conscious decisions that these children are making. They have a disease that makes them hyperactive, impulsive, and inattentive. So when you tell them, go and put your clothes in the laundry room, you've already told them to take them off in there a million times, but they didn't. And now you're reminding them. And they have to pass their siblings who are happen to be watching their favorite TV show. And you find them sitting down at the table. They weren't bad. They weren't necessarily disrespectful or defiant. They got distracted because they have ADHD. And so you need to make sure that the language that you use and the frame of mind that you have is always one of, this child has a disease that makes them distracted. That is why on occasion, I just go back and simply talk about what ADHD is. Those criteria often mean nothing. But then when I start putting them in perspective, like I did just then, everyone can say, oh, shoot, I just thought he decided not to take his clothes to the, and then what happens to the clothes? They get left right there at the kitchen table on the floor. What happens to the kitchen table? The dishes are right there on the kitchen table when they get up. And you're like, I know you do this at school, but what happens at school? There's structure. There are social cues because everybody else is doing it. The teacher reminds them. And so we have to give these kids a lot of reminders, especially if they are not treated. So if we are not treating our children, don't resort to calling them bad. Don't resort to screaming at them. Don't resort to hitting them and whipping them if you're not treating them. The other thing I do want to remind parents too is if you have ADHD, please treat your own. One of the reasons that kids often get hit, slapped, and screamed at is because their parents have ADHD as well and are not addressing it. But y'all ain't ready for that conversation. That's a different topic. Okay, Miss Constance Booker says entanglement, triangle, Lord help them. Yes, Miss Constance Booker is my dear friend, Dr. Andrea Nicole's mother. And so we know that Dr. Nicole is taking care of her kids, her husband, her job, his career. That's the other thing. All us high-powered, well-functioning mamas, and even the stay-at-home mamas, honey, because that's one of the hardest jobs there is stay at home. We still are dealing with the men who got to go to work and deal with some of the same things we are. So everybody, it's just a mess. Nobody's staying at home and doing it like they did in the day where you just come home, kick your shoes off, bring a newspaper, and the dog sit there and wag his tail. The dog got to do some work too. You better go out there and catch a squirrel or something. Everybody got to work around here. Everybody. What Miss Michelle at? She gonna give me is that what show was that where the dog sat down and wagged his tail, Miss? Let's see. My son loves his mantras and affirmations. They really do make a difference. They really, really, really do make a difference. They really do make a difference. Cassandra Abernathy says, yes, Lord Jesus. Oh, Lord, yes. All right, let's see. Chance did the dishes without an argument this month. Well, hallelujah. That is amazing. Listen, there are no small victories over here. They are all a big deal. All of them. All right. Miss Michelle Parker says, so when Chance gets upset, and tells me that he's going to call my mom and tell on me, I'm like, well, go on and call her. Thanks. I need discipline with that. Sometimes mama is so strict, but we've got to back mama up. You know, every once in a while you can ease in, but remember, mamas, like y'all have been there, we have too. And we are closer to the foolishness that's happening in the world than you all are. Right? We know what's out there because we see our friends and our friends' kids being caught up in that type of stuff. And so, especially, I mean, people like race ain't got nothing to do with it, but it does. I have black sons, right? And so between black sons being caught up with stuff that other black people are doing, and then black sons and the law, well, I'm happy now that my boys can't drive, because that means they're always with a family member. When they start driving, that's a whole nother level of concern that I'm gonna have. And no doubt they're not gonna be in hoopties. Why would they? So that means that I gotta worry about them getting pulled over just because. Just because there's no reason for my children to drive anything other than whatever we want them to. And so I've got to worry about them getting stopped for that. So that's a whole nother level. That just makes me weep and weaken the knees to think about. Right. And if you are a white mom or any other mom, that may not ever be your concern. But just know, when you say your prayers at night, there is a black mama somewhere saying, Lord, I did everything right, but I'm still concerned if my son got on a hoodie. He might be mistaken for somebody else. So this parenting thing, and people jump into this all day, every day, like, wee. But honey, this ain't for the weak. This is not for the weak at all. At all. Miss Belinda Jones, yeah, you are back. Oh my goodness. So glad to see you back. Miss Belinda Jones has been out, and I'm so happy to see you. I've missed you, but I'm glad to know the babies are doing good, and I'm glad to know you are too. That just made my day to see you here. Dr. Michelle says, give these kids chores and responsibilities. I have so many patients that don't have anything to do and they can't handle life. That's right, because we do everything for them, right? We always say we want our kids to do and have more and have it better than we did, but still, they need to have a good work ethic. They need to have some sense of responsibility, right? So if my kids ain't doing nothing to get a car, they won't get one. But if they continue on the path that they are now, sure, I'll reward you with one, but we're never so busy that we can't get you where you're going. You can get out on the passenger side, just like you can getting out on the driver's side. All right, let's see what else we got going on. Mama says, amen. Belinda Jones says, I was in the hospital. I am in the Athens. She was in the Athens hospital a month due to great... I'm not understanding, but I know she was sick, y'all. I know she was sick. And so I'm very happy to see you here with us. I definitely miss you. So thanks for letting us know that you're better. We'll continue praying for you. Jill Myrner McBrayer says, when it's time to take a shower, I have to give him step-by-step instructions so he will stay on task, or he would never get out of the shower. Miss Jill, we talk about all the time the showers. They're in there counting the shower towels. They're looking at the specks in the grout. They are counting how many holes are in the shower head. They're doing anything but getting showered. They are wet but not showered, and there is a difference. And so we do have to give them step-by-steps. I suggest timers. Miss Jill, I don't know if you were watching. It was a couple of weeks ago. It was the first week of August. So it would have been like a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday night. I think it was Tuesday. The first week of August, we talked about the steps for getting ready in the morning or something like that. Go check that out. I've got some great tips on that live. Miss Michelle says, I work full-time second shift, and Dad is starting next week working on third shift. Ooh, so we're going to have different shifts. That means somebody can always be around, but it also means that you're going to be a single married mama for a little bit. Miss Belinda says she is so proud of them. Absolutely, and I am too. You make sure that you tell them I'm very proud of them. Alethea says, I am speaking the truth. Absolutely. We've got my nurse, Stacy, here. She says hello. Stacy, make sure that you tell... shoot, hold on. I just wrote him a message. I sent your baby a message too. I can't think of his name. Jax. Tell Jax happy birthday. Her son's birthday is today. He's 12. We're so excited. He's such a good boy. My husband builds cars, and Carly is 14, who will be driving soon. They're going to build her first car, and she has ADHD, and it worries me to death, the what ifs. We got to make sure that we talk to her first. We got to make sure that we are making sure her ADHD is well controlled, such that she does not end up hurting herself or someone else. Okay, y'all, we spent 30 minutes on the B. Let's keep going. The I. I is for inattentive and impulsivity, which goes back to what Miss Michelle was talking about. These kids are inattentive, right? Which means that they lose things. They forget things. They're easily distracted. They procrastinate. So they're not lazy. They procrastinate as a part of their disease. They rush. They make careless mistakes. They don't pay attention to details. Those are your your inattentive symptoms. Sometimes you may call their name 3 and 4 times and they do not respond. And that is because of the inattention, the impulsivity, the getting up, the blurting out, the not waiting their turn, the doing then thinking, finding themselves in a lot of trouble. That's your I, inattention and impulsivity. Okay. Your G, these children are often gifted. So a lot of times people will say, my child cannot have ADHD because my child is smart. My child makes the honor roll. That is very excellent. And that is the exception and not the rule. I'm sorry, that is the rule and not the exception. That children with ADHD very much can learn. Very much so can learn. Now, there are oftentimes associated learning disabilities, difficulties, especially in reading and math. But oftentimes, once these children are treated and or are given the special services that they need, including 504 plans and IEPs that they qualify. And if you did not catch those, what their legal rights are, check out last week's show when we had attorney Fred Bowling on, who is an education law expert. And he talked to us about education and the law. It was a 2-hour thing. It was amazing. You should totally go back and check that out. But yes, making mornings better video. Thank you, Stacy. There the link is right there. Look at Stacy. Y'all, let me tell y'all, I have the most amazing nurses in my life, starting with my mom, who gave me some great advice when I went off to residency. And then the ones that I work with now, all of them are absolutely fantastic. That is why if you are ugly to my staff, I am going to let you know about it. Point blank, hands down. I don't care what you say about me. You cannot mess with them. I will fight a mountain lion over my nurses because they are the ones that protect me from whatever the foolishness is that is going on. I don't even know about half the stuff that happens because they handle it. Stacy, Dia, Teresa, Chastity. I think that's all of them. Those are the ones I talk to every day at least. If it's another one out there, I love you too, but you don't call me a lot. So there you go. Okay. So gifted. They may be gifted. These children oftentimes will say things like, because they're so smart, but they don't want to pay attention. Sometimes you might catch them saying, I don't know, and I don't know. I don't know. They don't want to think about it. I don't know. So they either know the answer or they don't, and they're not going to try to figure it out, right? Very common. So you may find that in, not in kindergarten and first grade do they usually test most kids to be gifted, but that may be something that you may find. So do not believe the hype when the principal, especially a teacher, the teacher, or even you try to convince yourself. You've been listening to me for 1.5 years, coming every week, listening silently to the replay because you don't want to dare hope I see your name and call it out. So you're listening right now tonight at 7:00 p.m. Hey, you listen at 7. Hey, and you've been doing that for 2 years, but you keep telling yourself, but he can't have it because he makes the honor roll. Don't do that to yourself. And especially don't do that to your child. All right. So what's the big deal? The B is bad. They are not bad. The I is impulsivity and inattention. We went through that. You know what those things are. You can pick up any Google or any other search engine and look at the symptoms. There they are. Impulsivity, inattention. Then you got your G. They're often gifted. So do not be confused. Do not be dismayed. Do not be misled. Do not fake yourself out, and certainly do not be in denial by saying my child has these good grades. Now, why does it matter? And so that's a really good question. Somebody might say, well, I mean, okay, he does have it, but he make all A's. Why do I care? And I'm so glad you asked, because the D in deal is exactly why it matters. And it's the dealings with others. The dealings with others. People with ADHD often are moody and irritable. And who wants to be around someone who's moody and irritable? People with ADHD often, because of their impulsivity, they cut people off. Right dead smack in the middle of you talking, they start talking. All right. What else is a D? And why is it impact the way that they deal with others? Because they always are defensive. They're used to having to explain themselves. All right. They're defensive. Let me take these notes myself, get ready for my second book. They're defensive. I'm going to have a whole book of acronyms for people that hate acronyms. They're often defensive. So their moodiness, they're moody. They blurt. Okay. They're on the defense. What do you mean, Dr. RB? What do you mean, Dr. Brandy? What do you mean, Dr. Rudolph Bowling? What do you mean, Dr. Bowling? What do you mean, Dr. Rudolph? Whatever. Her. The lady doctor, the black doctor, the child doctor, the triple boy lady, all of that. I am she present. What do you mean when you say they're defensive? If you imagine that you've lived your entire life having to explain without explaining why you forgot something, why you didn't drop something off at the mail, why you didn't take the trash out, why you didn't pay that bill, but you had the money and the check was written, why you forgot to pay your car note and now you got a late fee, why you forgot to bring your homework to school and you tell the teacher the dog ate it, but you never had a dog. So after years of doing that, when somebody says, hey girl, did you take the chicken out to thaw? Or as black folks say, to unthaw? But we ain't gonna talk about black people. I love my people. I already took it out. But y'all just got married and you're newlyweds, but you don't know that this person has lived their entire life having had to defend the fact that they did forget stuff all the time. And so they were always in trouble for having forgotten something, but they never knew what it was. They just knew they were in trouble all the time. All right. So they're moody, they're defensive, they're blurting. They can't wait their turn. So they're trying to play sports. Coach said 10 hut go left, 10 hut, they went back. They didn't even go right. Now the teammates are mad. So when you say my child makes A's or B's or A's and B's, he can't have ADHD, but then you look at their everything else around them. Because, right, remember, in order for a diagnosis to meet criteria for to be a mental health diagnosis, it's got to impact you behaviorally in multiple settings. Right. So it's not just school. And to me, it really doesn't even matter if my child makes A's and B's, but they don't get to go to bed until 1 and 2 in the morning because they have to sit at the table. And what it took their classmates 1 hour solid to do, it took them 4 and 5 hours to do because they had to get up. They had to walk around. They had to eat a little bit. They had to sleep a little bit. They had to take a nap. They had to watch TV. What y'all doing? Did the doorbell ring? Did the cow move? Did the dog bark? Then they come back. Then they eat a little bit more. Then they see what y'all doing. Then they put everybody to bed. Then they pray with everybody. But then they come back. Well, again, I'm tired. I'm in the bed. So one thing you can ask yourself is, do you leave your children up doing homework, especially your older children in high school, middle school? That's not a good quality of life. So in life, there's living and there's breathing and existing. And I'm all about making quality of life, making life be beautiful and not just existing in life. What else can we talk about when we talk about dealings with others? We got the moodiness, the blurting, the defensiveness, the sports, interacting with others, team-wise. All of this stuff matters. And none of what I have named is necessarily related to grades, except when we're talking about a group project. Now, group projects may not be something that is readily going to be something that you see in the elementary level. But when you get to middle and high school, if your child didn't do their part and the teacher, is grading the group is going to either say, okay, we just going to go on and do it and suck it up, or the group is going to get mad at you and they're going to tell. So this is all a part of that social piece. And that is where your academics tie into it as well. Because not only are you just impacting what you're doing, the poor planning, the poor ability to look into the future, all of that is going to impact how it is that the child exists in the world. Let's see what we got. Let's see. Ms. Vakita says, hello. Thank you for joining. We're tagging people. Ms. Michelle says we are having issues with impulse, and it's always so extreme. It can be very extreme. Miss Angelica says, yes, Michelle says, oh, yes, you have hit the head on the nail. Let me tell y'all real quick about the impulsivity of ADHD. Whenever people ask me, does my child need to be treated on the weekends? First of all, that is an individual choice, just like everything else with ADHD. Second of all, I just want you to consider that having gained the knowledge, if you didn't already know about what I just said with the D, how ADHD can impact your dealings with others. Most of the time that we're dealing with others and all those things I named is after school. After school includes the weekends in the past 3 period. I'm sorry, weekdays after 3, and then weekends. Okay. Also, that is the time when kids are running, jumping, skipping, outside playing. The ball goes into the street. They don't look both ways before they go to get it. They forget they don't know how to swim. That happens on non-school days and non-school hours. They left their keys in the car with the car running. What else? They left their purse at the restaurant. All of this is stuff that happens on non-school hours. So if you take away from them the one thing that helps them control that, you've just got to be ready for that and go back to B and realize they're not bad. They have ADHD. Listen, I liken ADHD to any other thing. Let's go with diabetes, right? You cannot get mad at somebody for having a glucose of 500 when you fail to give them insulin. Does anybody understand what I'm saying? You cannot be mad at them and say, shame on you for eating. Because if you eat anything, honey, sugar is hidden in everything we eat. Believe me, your onions, your tomatoes, whatever. It might be good for you. It might be a healthy food, but it's got some sugar in it. So that means your glucose is going to go up. And if you are not making insulin to go and grab that glucose and get it back where it needs to be, then it's going to be elevated. So then to say you ate, of course you get hungry. Your sugar is 500. You didn't give me anything to help my sugar not be 500. So if you're not treating their ADHD, don't talk to me about their grades. Don't talk to me about how they ran in the street and their pinky toe got ran over by a car. Don't talk to me about that. You didn't give them anything to help them with that. You understand what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Okay. Moody and defensive. Good afternoon. Miss Charisma is in the building. Yes, Lish, Dr. Lishwell says, yes, children will blurt out in class and get in trouble when they really can't help it with the diagnosis. We know how to support students. Yes. That question came up last week when we were with Attorney Fred Bowling. Do we need to tell the teachers? And so, I can't make parents tell the teachers. They don't want teachers to know, that's their business. And to be honest, if you are being treated and your ADHD does not present at school, maybe there's not a reason to tell your teacher. But I can tell you this, if your child is up out of their seat, moving, blurting, sharpening pencils, blowing nose, tossing something, hitting somebody, keg somebody, slap somebody, and we don't have anything to, explain this, then you're going to have problems. You're going to be getting phone calls. You're going to lose your job. You're going to be a stay-at-home mama by force and not choice. And we don't want that if that's not what you want. Miss Auntie Sadie says hello. We say hello. Kelly says this is Collins all day long. My children all have varying degrees of ADHD, says Miss Rebecca. Absolutely, because I am waiting on them to put spectrum in the word in the diagnosis of ADHD. That would help me so much because parents say, well, my child can't have ADHD because he doesn't blank. But really, no two kids with ADHD all look alike. So some of you all may say, oh, thank God my kid didn't do that. While others of you like, she hit the nail on the head. Miss Michelle says, I will admit I don't feel I deal with it how I need to, honestly. I feel like I freak out. I don't sit and think, okay, I need to approach it correctly. And that's on me. I beat myself up over it. Oh, God, y'all gonna make me start up some stuff that I should have started up a long time ago. Just how to deal with the kids, how to deal with ourselves as we deal with these kids. Because guess what? These kids will push our buttons. Don't get it twisted. Buttons will be pushed. Sometimes they will be pushed in so far that they do not pop back out for a long time. And so that's when we have to realize we're working with a sick child, and then we have to walk away. We have to walk away. We have to give ourselves breaks. So shout out to the single mamas who have nobody to give them breaks. You better just make a break. All right. Call your best friend, your girlfriend, somebody, and say, I just got to get out of here for about 20 minutes. I'm just going to the McDonald's and sit in the car and rethink my whole life right now. I just need you to come sit outside the house, watch these kids if you see smoke go in with an extinguisher. That's all I need you to do. because sometimes it gets like that. All right. My auntie Eva is here. She says, good afternoon, all the way from Philadelphia. I think she's back home now. She was here with us in the South last week. All right. Miss Michelle says, Connor got in trouble for talking and got silent lunch. He does have ADHD, and they know he needed, they know he ended up getting silent lunch. If you don't feel like silent lunch is something that is appropriate for him with his ADHD, make sure that you, if he has a 504 IEP, make sure that you talk with him about that, right? And that needs to be revisited in whatever document he has in place. Miss Tanisha says it's a work in progress. Absolutely. Life is a work in progress. And if you're parenting, holy cow, we are always working, and we're always learning, yearning, and working towards progress. Miss Trisha King says, you are not alone. We are growing through this together and doing our best. And that's the only thing we can do is our best, right? If anybody expects more than your best out of them, out of you, they are absolutely insane. Because if I give you my best, I don't have anything left to give you. I really don't, unless you're going to teach me some more tricks of the trade, then that would help me be better than my best. But my best is all that I know and all that I have. And I'm never going to fault anybody for that. Listen, I don't fault anybody for giving their least. I'm going to try to educate them. And then if I feel like their least is hurting the child, then there are some other systems in place. But I can't make anybody do anything. I don't even have that type of energy to try. But I can give education, and then I can report, refer, and move on to the next person. That's all I can do. All right, let's see what we got. Miss Michelle says she was mad, but didn't tell him you have to deal with the consequences. Serve your silent lunchtime. So it sounds like you're okay with that. And if you feel like that's appropriate, you know, maybe there is a time and a place for that. But if not, maybe give the teacher some other options, because honestly, lunch is so loud, and that is the one place that a child can talk. So, you know, just think about how you feel about that, and if that is an appropriate treatment. It sounds like you are okay with that, so we'll roll with it. Ms. Kalu says, I go to the grocery store to take a breather. It can be overwhelming at times. Let me tell y'all, during the pandemic, I only went to one store when no stores were open. You really know me, you know I'm a shopper. I love shopping. During the pandemic, all I could buy was jewelry, because that's all anybody ever saw anyway. It was me from the neck up. So I bought some exquisite jewelry, right? What do they call them? Conversation pieces, right? Okay. So, but Walmart was my stop, because I could still get all my clothing fixed. I could get my jewelry. I could get masks. I could get, of course, food. Everything I would get up early on a Sunday morning, be in the line, be number 723, trying to get in Walmart. And I'd be in there 2 or 3 hours. That was my time. I would be in there looking raggedy with some shades on and a bonnet. Not a bonnet like that, a hood. Let me say a hood on my thing, not a bonnet. And I would just be in there looking at people, and they probably were looking at me, and I'm just taking 1 hour per aisle, having a good time, because nobody was up at home. So they didn't even know I was gone. And I'm just in there buying trash bags, comparing the ounces, discovering the different brands that exist. Oh, I'm having the time of my life in Walmart early on a Sunday morning. So you just have to figure out what it is that is good for you. And it doesn't have to, remember, self-care is not selfish, first of all. And it doesn't have to be anything that you spend money on. If you enjoy doing it and it brings you some peace, go and do it. It may be that you want to do it alone. It may be that you want to do it with somebody else. But y'all, after a long day's work for me, I honestly don't want to talk to nobody. But guess what? I got to call my mama, and I got to listen. And if anybody know my mama in real life, that lady can talk. So you don't really have to say a whole lot, because she just going to be talking. And you just say, every once in a while. And then, you know, we have satisfied mama. Then my husband's probably doing some sports stuff. He gonna call me. You know, when he come home, I gotta listen to him talk about who sacked who. And I gotta be, you know, and then the kids want to tell me about stuff, because they're at that age now. My oldest, who's never really been interested in talking about stuff, he wants to tell me stuff now. So, honey, I gotta be, oh yeah, uh-huh. And then the middle one, Franklin, he's a hoot, y'all. He's the comedian of the family. So he'll be like, Mama, look at this. And he's eating this morning, eating yogurt out of the cup. His daddy had dressed him, and he was eating yogurt out of the cup, y'all, without a spoon. So when he came to me by, he had yogurt from here to here and running down his shirt. And I just looked at him and I said, Franklin, your daddy gonna kill you. And so he wants to tell me something. And then Faith wants to put on her ballet outfit. I don't care what day it is. She's going to fall out in the floor because we can't put on ballet shoes and walk outside. And so it's just nonstop. So then I sweep a little. I clean some toilets and, maintenance stuff that you got to do every day so your house don't look total disgust and filth. And then I go to bed about 12 o'clock after having and to everybody but myself. That's my day. That's my day. So if you see me out at Walmart and I'm and talking to myself, I'm not crazy. I just talk to everybody else till I'm about to turn the color of my dress. And I just want to talk to myself a little bit to see what I sound like. That's all. I'm not crazy. I promise. I'm all right. You don't need to lock me up. I'm just talking to myself because I done talked to everybody else. Let's see what y'all said over here. Y'all are funny. Let's see. He does have an IEP. So you may want to see about if it's appropriate and if we need to do some things, with medicine or whatever else. Miss Sandra Keefe says, we taught ours that every action has a reaction. It's either positive or negative, and you, the child, are responsible for choices that you make, and there are consequences if you make wrong choices. I do just want you to understand. Now, people say, I don't want to be a crutch. There's a thin line between is it a crutch or are we not addressing it appropriately? So I never want anybody to think that I want to blame everything on ADHD. I don't. But I do want to make sure that we have those conversations with our children, but on the other hand, we're helping them with it. Diabetics get a whole lot of diabetes education. But if they don't take the education and use it, it's for naught. Glucose going to be outrageous. Hemoglobin A1C going to be in, 13, 14, 15. They're going to start losing toes. I mean, all of these things will still happen no matter how much education we give them. So we got to give the treatment to go with it. But I am absolutely a firm believer in there being guidelines, in there being consequences and all of that. But I also believe in making sure that we're doing our part to treat. Girl, you be running Walmart with no bra. See, you one of the people that I used to like to look at on Sunday morning. That's why I would be in there so long. I check out all the tattoos, the braless people, the flip-flops. I don't judge them. I mean, hey, but it's just kind of cool for me to look at because, again, I don't talk to everybody else. I don't get a chance to watch TV because I'm talking and there's so many other people. I go to Walmart to get my entertainment. Now I know that's you under them shades. Now I know. Miss Michelle, I'm going to know. She said she don't care. I'm the Hot Mess Express, but it's your time. It's your time. It is your time, and we're glad that you are taking your time on the Hot Mess Express. I love it. I love it. Let's see what else we got. Miss Frida says, yes, she can. Love her. Miss Frida knows. Honey, she dated my brother a long time, honey. They was engaged, honey. She knows my mama can talk. Where she at? She ain't saying nothing. But my mama can talk, y'all. Y'all think I can talk. I'm talking to y'all because I'm entertaining y'all, and y'all keep me going. But my mama, she wouldn't even know, I don't think, if the phone call had dropped. She just be talking. But I love my mama to death. Better not nobody mess with my mama. I'll fight a mountain lion over my mama. Yes, I will, with my bare hands in the cold. In the snow on a mountain. Sure will. Let's see. Keena says self-care is definitely needed. We got to do that, y'all, because the first thing y'all said to me was that y'all were tired. Everybody chimed in, people I had never heard of. I don't even know y'all. Y'all were saying y'all were tired. Y'all don't even know me from Adam, and you telling me how tired you are. So I know you're tired. All right. So we've got to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. Miss Sandra Key says, I love your scenarios. Yes, listen, that is what it's about. If I say talk loud, blur, interrupt, it means nothing if I can't take those words and put them into your everyday life. That's what I'm here for. That's what they pay me for. Because otherwise, you're just looking at those words and they don't mean anything to you. But when I bring them to life, you're like, oh my, oh, diabetes. Ah, I see. Because everybody knows about what that man called it. What's the man call it, Miss Michelle? He called it Diabetes. What's that man's name? Diabetes on the commercial. Y'all know the diabetes man. I think he used to be on some shows back in the day. But yes, we have got to make sure that we are likening ADHD to any other disease. Speaking of which, I really will be happy when we look at mental illness as we look at anything else. Some people say, why you call it mental illness? Because it's in the diagnostic and statistical manual of mental disorders, okay? That's what it is. So until the people take it out of that book and put it in another one, I'm going to call it what it is. But anywho, got distracted. Somebody said to me, I want to be treated for ADHD, but is it going to show up on my school applications? On my transcript is what they really said. And I shed a thug tear. Because inside, I'm mushy, but on the outside, I'm a thug, okay? In my mind, at least. And I was like, how sad is this? You're not filling out application for life insurance. Not that it should even matter about that. Had an adult tell me she didn't want to be treated because of her life insurance. And I'm like, thinking to myself, you're much more impulsive and likely to do something crazy not being treated that would land you getting hurt or doing something that a life insurance policy would have to actually pay out for to not treat than to treat. But I really want y'all we've got to change this narrative. We've got to make it as common to the world as it is to us over here at Focus on it Friday, because we really are the smart ones. We know that people's lives are being impacted by just a simple treatment. We know that. And so if we can get everybody else to know that, it would just, so much drug use, so much unwanted pregnancy, so many accidents, so many high school dropouts, college dropouts, so many dreams could be achieved if everybody could look at mental illness in general the way we do over here at Focus on a Friday. That's my dream for the world. All right. How do you diagnose an adult with ADHD? Oh, that's a good one. We're going to come back to that. Michelle says she is that person walking around in Walmart. Now I'm going to just call everybody Michelle. Everybody, I'm going to be like, look at Michelle over there. Frida says, such wisdom. Absolutely. Mama is definitely wise. Oh, my God. Amazingly wise. Every once in a while, she'll say something, and I say, oh, repeat that, because I have to perk up and come out of aha mode and go into real listening mode, not just background aha mode. I love my mama, though. Mama says she does not talk to everyone, and that is true. She will not. But if she's talking to you, she really likes you, because she will not if she does not. Sandra, if you make the light bulb come on, LOL. Wilfred, Brenda, with tagging people, behavior issues in school are included on transcripts. But I think that's if you've been written up. And I'm not sure it's on your transcripts or if in a file. A transcript, from what I understand, is just going to be the class, the grade, the GPA. Other documented commentary, and some educators correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not sure that goes on your transcript unless there's a separate behavioral transcript. But somebody let me know. I feel a lot of adult treatment boils down to what people say, and it's hard to discuss that with a doctor. Tell me what you mean by that, Michelle. I feel they automatically assume they just want drugs, and it's sad. Yes. And I think that the reason because of that, and I'm not trying to talk about my colleagues, but I'm going to talk about them. But there are a lot of even psychiatrists who do not understand ADHD, and I would dare say don't even believe it's real. So if you don't believe something, can you imagine that if a doctor didn't believe that diabetes was real? And so they're like, you can control your sugar. Just don't eat sugar. You can control your cholesterol. Just don't eat fried stuff. Well, every once in a while, I want a good piece of fried chicken myself. And I'm sure y'all do out there too. That's why they make KFC, Jack's. Who else sell fried chicken? Churches. That's why these places have long lines. Popeyes brought a chicken sandwich and y'all went crazy. You couldn't even get it. The lines were so long, blocking whole boulevards. Somebody got shot in one city. So people like fried chicken, and ain't nothing wrong with that, right? So if people don't understand it, though, I've even had people say to me, he doesn't need the medicine anymore. He doesn't work. He doesn't need the medicine anymore. He's not in school. But remember the D, it impacts your dealings with others. You may not be working or you may not be in school because you can't even focus long enough to complete the application. Or you may be depressed, because don't forget that once you have been downbeaten so much, hearing negative stuff so much, knowing that you can make a good grade, but you don't for so long, that's going to impact your mood. You're going to be sad. You're going to wonder, what is wrong with me? I can never get anything right. I can never excel at anything. I can never do it right. And then you're going to potentially be anxious. Oh, Lord, I studied like this the last time and I made a 71, but I had been making 91s on all the practice tests. Does that mean that this time I'm going to get a 61? That's what our brain does to us when we are that's called conditioning. So that person who's at home, who just looks lazy to us and not working, and he could have been just fired from a job because he was so disorganized that he was late all the time. But if we give him some medicine, or we give him some treatment, we get him some therapy, we get her some therapy, we get her some medicine, then maybe she can get to work on time and she can be the excellent employee. But we just got to reframe our mind. And there are non-stimulant medications. There are some long-acting medications that people have looked at in studies and said this is not as likely to be abused. So people aren't going to be wanting to. In fact, guys, outside of Adderall, ain't nobody get high off Ritalin. So we just really need, it's about education. Education. I've not forgotten you, Jada. I'm coming back. I'm coming back. You were a godsend for me and my family. You made me realize there's so many things dealing with my kids who have ADHD and on the spectrum. Oh, you're so kind. I appreciate you. I really, really, really do. But y'all don't understand. I'm on commission. I'm being obedient to somebody else. If somebody gave me a gift, I can't sit on it. I've got to share it. So that's why I'm over here with you all on Fridays, because believe it or not, the mama that's watching at 7:00 tonight. Hi, Mom. Everybody wave at the mom that's watching at 7 tonight, because she don't want anybody to know. Hello. She's heard everything I've said. And she's crying because her husband is saying, I don't know what you watching that Dr. Brandon B for, but he looking over her shoulder because I'm cute. He watching too. But that's because I'm cute. And he's listening too. And she's catching HE double hockey stick because she wants to treat. She still hears, right? So everybody hears, and that is why I keep doing what I do. Does Social Security still recognize ODD and ADHD as mental illness and are willing to give SSI for it to parents? My understanding is that they do. The intention is, the thought behind it is that you're going to be off taking the kid to appointments. You may be off because the kid just was having a rough day and couldn't make it. Mental health days are real. I encourage them. I am not a fan of perfect attendance, but don't let your child not have perfect attendance on my account. But if you need a day off, I would much rather you stay at home and get yourself together than come to school and go postal. But that's just me. Okay. Michelle Parker, without you, I would have ended up in the crazy house. Well, I'm glad I came around, because we don't want that. You need to be at home with them kids, so they won't have to be at home with me. Gwendolyn McNickens is clapping. We appreciate you all. Okay, I'm going to finish, and Jada, I'm coming back to you, but I want to get through the rest of the acronym, and then the people that need to leave can leave, and then we'll go talk about, I think you asked me, so I hope you can hang in there. What'd you ask me? Shoot, where is it? How can you diagnose ADHD in adults? The short answer, in case you got to go, is like you do with anybody else, but I'll come back and give you some more. Miss Stephanie Pierce says, so glad you're on the lower side and you are great at what you do. I love you so, and you know I love you too, and I appreciate that. I really do. Miss Carolyn Mike Bryan says, I love you, Dr. Raina B. Y'all better stop. Y'all gonna make me cry, but keep coming. I just love y'all too. Y'all are absolutely amazing, and that is why I get up and I do what I do. Let's see. E, extra hyper. So we're talking about big deal. B, bad, they are not. I, inattentive and impulsive. G, they're gifted. So I don't care what kind of grades they make. A's, B's, elemental P's. They can be very much gifted. They can make honor roll and still have ADHD. D, they have difficulty in dealing with others. Okay. Mood, defensive, blurting, interrupting, can't play sports, competitive sports, team sports. E, extra hyper. That goes without saying. That goes without saying. That's what people think about when they think of ADHD. So, the kids is always on the go, just cannot stop. On the go, moving, jumping, blurting, bouncing, all of that, okay? A, apt to make bad decisions. So while they are not bad, they are apt to make bad decisions. And we've hinted on that. Driving too fast, run into a tree. A lot of teenagers will total at least one car. And y'all know it doesn't take much to total a car because they're made of aluminum foil. So they just ball up, okay? So they're apt to make bad decisions. And so you've got to be ready for that. Now, keep in mind that adolescence is an age of bad decision making. We all made bad decisions. Some of us made decisions that were worse than others, and those decisions followed us for a lifetime. Some of us just snuck out one night and we sat on the front porch because we knew our parents were nuts. And so we didn't test their gangster. Okay. And some of us didn't do that, but we did something. We all do. That's what adolescence is about. And that's, thank God, why we get a chance to do it under our parents' guidance. And that's also why it's very important that we as parents be parents and understand that they're going to do some things, but we got to snatch them up and bring them back. They want us to. They want us to do that. They really do. And so when we do it, then they're like, okay, she loves me like I thought she did. Versus, she didn't even care. I got picked up for being truant and she didn't come get me. I'm out past curfew and nobody brought the $500 to get me out. Okay. Now we keep doing stuff because it's like, well, nobody cares. Whereas if I know my child's going to care, my parents going to care. First of all, I'm not going to do it because I know they care. Second of all, I'm not going to do it because I know they care. Either way, I know they care. So I'm not going to do it. Okay. But these kids make bad decisions. Jumping in the lake. Here's another example for you, Miss Sandra. They jump in the lake. They forget they didn't know how to swim. Everybody's child has on a life jacket but yours. Because the ability to plan, executive functioning, somebody mentioned, that is nothing more than the ability to say, okay, first this, then this. First a life jacket, then get in the pool. You're not going to catch me without water, without one on, because I know I don't know how to swim. But I also know that I don't like to drink because of substance abuse in my family. But when you're impulsive, you can't think about the fact that there's substance abuse in your family. So what do? Because as an adolescent, it'll never happen to me. That's the baseline. That's the basis of adolescence. It won't happen to me. So if that's the base of adolescence, it won't happen to me. Invincible. And I'm impulsive. And I forget things. Like I forgot all the alcoholics, all the crackheads, all the meth heads in my own family. And it won't happen to me anyway. And now somebody asks me to offer me to take something, smoke something, ingest something, drink something. It won't happen to me. And I don't even know who it happened to anyway. I'm going to do it. So a lot of times parents say, well, I don't want my kids on those medicines because they're going to end up drugs. No, your kids going to end up on drugs because they're impulsive. And they're going to take something, smoke something, drink something, ingest something without thinking about it. And that's not going to do it. And they're going to find something, if they have ADHD, that's going to treat their ADHD. Or they're going to find something that's going to treat their depression. Or they're going to find something that's going to treat their anxiety. When if they had come to me, I could have given them something that would have allowed them to keep their teeth, keep their job, keep their dignity. Not have them people around corners. Either because they're paranoid or because they stole your stuff and they're trying to see if you coming behind them to get your stuff back and jack them up. I just keep it real with y'all over here. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Do y'all know what I'm talking about? Has anybody experienced this? Not in your own family, but in other people's. Have y'all seen this, what I'm talking about? Have y'all seen this? Tell me if you've seen this setup that I'm talking about. Somebody drinking themselves too much and really they're anxious. Somebody getting on pain pills. Really they're depressed. Somebody getting on meth and cocaine, but really they had ADHD. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Somebody said yes, ma'am. Yes. Okay. So y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay. So let me go back to doctor. I think she must have left out. Child, she probably had to go see some patients or something because we be working as doctors. Y'all don't think we be doing that, but we be working. Let me go back to Dr. This is going to ring home right here. Y'all better share this with your friends who acting like ain't nothing wrong with their child. Dr. Michelle. Okay, let me tell you something about that pre-adolescent age, that tween age, 11 and 12. So what is happening in that 11 and 12-year-old? So a sixth grader is about 11. So really that 11 to 12, they're not teenagers yet according to age. But what is happening developmentally is that we are giving that age. Now my mama did, because my mama, child, she ain't let me do nothing. But remember, I love you, know, and you're beautiful. Okay. But in that age, we're letting our children go out more. They're with their friends. They're probably at their friend's house. An adult is there. Hopefully you know them. Older siblings are there. Older cousins are there. So that's why asking all the questions are necessary. Because my mama asks all the questions. Who all going to be there? Is it a boy or a girl? You know, are they staying? How long they staying? Are you going to be there the whole time? How far away from you? My mama asked this one lady, how far away are you going to be from the kids? And I'm like, oh, God, I'll stay home. But these questions are important. Why? Because at the age that they no longer want to take medicine, it's the same time that you are allowing them to be out of your presence more, because developmentally they're pushing for that. And you kind of feel like, well, okay, I can kind of let them go. And that older cousin, that older sibling, that parent of their friend is allowing things to happen that you may not allow at your house. And that is where it begins. And that is why, even though sixth grade is a safe grade academically, you better sure enough lock in on what they're doing socially. Because they're going to be sneaking and doing stuff, potentially, that you may not know about. So 11 years old, one of the things that I do is work at a substance abuse placement for children who have dual diagnoses, substance abuse, and a lot of them are marijuana, but the other kids are doing everything else you can imagine. The often age I hear is 11 that children have their first year. 8 is the most common outlier. So if you say, what's the most common age you hear for drug use starting? It's 11. What's the most common outlier? It's 8. That's crazy. 8 years old, 8 minus 3, that's a third grader. Okay? So I don't care what you tell me, I've got a correlation for ADHD, because that's what I do. And so sixth grade is a big year. It's middle school. Depending upon what your system looks like in your district, you may be merging with all kinds of kids from all over the city. Or you could be going, you've been with the same group all along. So it's a big year socially. We've already talked about how it's a big year developmentally as far as freedoms from family. But then you're trying to find your mix. You're not a teenager. You're certainly not an adult, but you're not a child either. These emotions start, periods start. There's a lot going on. Girls talking about boys, boys talking about girls. So if you have not talked to them about sex, you better, because their friends are. So you better tell them some factual stuff, not that made up hoodoo stuff. This is real. So if nobody else tells me, and last week, unless y'all were lying to me, y'all told me nobody else talks to y'all like this. So I'm going to talk to you, because you're here. You stick around. Y'all don't act like y'all have no work to do. So y'all stay. The 7 o'clock people, hey, y'all, they still watching. They in the bed with popcorn. Okay. So let's see what else we got. Self-medicating is widespread. This is such a true statement. Jump in and can't swim. Absolutely. Many a kid turns up dead from drowning because alcohol was involved, or it may not have been. And the kid could have swam or may not have been. But if your kid knows how to swim and tires out, but they are with other kids who are drinking and they get scared, they're going to leave your kid. So that's why you got to answer all these questions. And that's why every once in a while, you got to be like mama and say no. Okay, Sandra. Miss Alethea says, yes. Stephanie, yes, ma'am. Gwendolyn, yes. I am making sense to these ladies. Sandra Keith says, so glad I met you. You make me realize grandmothers are important. Oh my God, grandmothers are important. That's an understatement. Whether the parent is alive or involved or not, grandmothers are absolutely important. Grandmothers matter, right? Because sometimes we do, as mamas, need somebody to say, now, you need to rev up. And sometimes you need to rev down. Let them be a kid. Let them hang loose, right? So we appreciate grandmothers. We talk about that all the time over here. Grandfathers too. Stashi says, hello, 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 hello. All right, let's see. Okay. Apt to make bad decisions. That's the A. And then the L. I want you to remember that your child with ADHD is able to love, live, and learn just like anyone else. So if you keep in mind that they're not bad, if you keep in mind that they're inattentive and impulsive, if you keep in mind that, yes, they can be gifted, if you keep in mind that they're going to have interactions with others that may not be the way that you thought, maybe not the way you interact with others. If you keep in mind that they're going to be hyperactive, they might run out in the street. They might talk so much till your head feel like it's about to explode. If you keep in mind they're going to be bad, make bad decisions, just like any other adolescent would. But it will then help you to realize, but with treatment, they can still live, love, and enjoy life like every other kid. Like any other kid. All right. So it got us through the big deal. Hopefully that was very helpful. Now I want to go back to Jada's question. Jada said, how do you diagnose? What famous question is, why did you do that? I can't answer. I don't. So why did you? I don't know. Why did that? These kids ask all kind of questions. Why? Why is the moon white, baby? I'm flattered that you think I know the answer to such questions and mysteries of life, but I don't know. And I think that there's something. Let me just say this real quick. Parents, it's okay to say I don't know, and it is especially okay to say I am sorry. If you get something wrong, if you hurt their feelings, if you tell them something that's not good, saying I'm sorry, because remember, much of what adults are doing is either mimicking what was done to us or being very aware of something and saying, I don't want to do it that way. And saying I'm sorry when you have wronged someone shows that you're a bigger person, shows that you you can make mistakes, because some of us as parents present ourselves as if we are perfect, and I know y'all ain't perfect, nor am I. And so I'm quick to tell my kids if I've done something wrong, or if I got upset and I screamed, or or if I blamed the wrong child. Although I usually know who it is. It's probably Faith, the little one. She writes on everything and she leaves a smiley face as proof. So, but if I've wronged Faith, and indeed Franklin did, I'm going to say, I'm sorry, Faith. Because at 3, she knows how to say please and thank you. She needs to know how to say, I'm sorry. And who better to teach her to say these things than her mother and her father? And not just to tell her those things, but to mimic, to model those things for her. Conflict resolution, right? We got people shooting each other up because of who knows what. But conflict resolution starts by saying, I'm sorry. I stepped on your shoes. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Baby, I be apologizing to everybody in the Walmart because I don't know. Because I was going in one day. Where my friend at? Where Michelle? I was going in Walmart one day, and I kid y'all not, this is slightly graphic, but not really. I heard a lady say as I was walking in, I ain't got on no draw so you can kiss my whatever. I just kept walking because I said it ain't got nothing to do with me. I do not have ADHD. I am focused on getting inside this building. But she did say that, right? She wanted her to know. And so, listen, if somebody would have just said, I'm sorry, right there, we wouldn't have known her underwear status. But we knew it. Everybody in the parking lot knew it because it was loud. So what I'm saying is, if we want conflict resolution, it starts with, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I stepped on your shoe. I'm sorry I hurt your feelings. And now we don't have to fight about it. And then we can start, that's the beginning of us start talking about it. But you got to realize that on the other side, you may have somebody who's defensive because they got ADHD. Or they defensive because they got PTSD or whatever. And you got to be prepared for that. So we got to be prepared. Okay. Let me see. What else we got? Anything else? Kalu says, I've learned to say, Mama does not know. Let's look it up. And I like that. Let's look it up together. Miss Trisha King says, amen. Nothing wrong with saying you're wrong as parents. My son and I are better because of this. Absolutely. We all make mistakes. Sometimes we don't know. Michelle says, so what do you do when your child says sorry, but you don't feel like he actually means it? Well, you would have to tell the people more about that, about your child, for me to really be able to explain it. And you've not said anything about your child. But I'll just say this. It depends. So if a child, for example, is one who is autistic, then they may not understand completely the emotion, or they may not even know how to really show the emotion, but they know, because remember, they're very concrete. And so they know that when you do this, you say this. And so they're trying to make that connection. And I think that that still counts. If your child says, I'm sorry, I stepped on your toe, while they continue to step on your toe, then we need to have a conversation about what I'm sorry means. I'm sorry means I didn't know at the time that I did it, but I know better now. And so I'm going to try my best not to do it. But you're not trying your best not to do it if you're saying I'm sorry while still doing it. So it just kind of depends. He is on the spectrum and he has ADHD or ADD. And so if he is making an attempt to try to connect the two, I did something wrong and I'm sorry because I know that that's what people say, I think that that counts. And just make sure that you continue to talk to him about what that looks like. All right, good question. All right, so now let's go with how do we diagnose with ADHD in an adult. So the short answer is that you would diagnose it the same way you would with a kid. The same questions are going to apply. In children 17 and younger, of the 9, so there are 9 symptoms for hyperactivity, impulsivity, 9 symptoms that go with inattention. Children up to 17 need, up to and including 17, are going to need 6 symptoms in each category to qualify as having predominantly hyperactive impulsive type or predominantly inattentive type. Adults only need 5 symptoms in each criteria. And so I went over those at the beginning, but your inattentive symptoms: losing things, forgetting things, being easily distracted, procrastinating, rushing, making careless mistakes, not paying attention to details, and not listening when addressed. Then your hyperactive impulsive symptoms: being talkative, being loud, blurting, interrupting, not waiting one's turn, not staying seated when it's expected to be seated, fidgeting, always on the go, and acting as if driven by a motor. If you're an adult and you meet 5 of each of those, then you can meet criteria for ADHD. Now, there are some other things that go with it, like you cannot be on drugs. It cannot be caused by or related to another medical condition. So, for example, if you have hyperthyroidism, then you may actually meet some of those hyperactive impulsive symptoms. So that would not necessarily allow you to meet criteria for ADHD. If you're on meth, if you're on cocaine, then you would not necessarily meet criteria for ADHD unless we go back in time and can say, yep, you had those symptoms way back then, and it is probably because of your ADHD that you had in childhood that has gone unchecked and untreated that now you are doing some of these things. But we would definitely want to exclude substance use. We want to exclude any other medical conditions that we know that can look like ADHD. Let me know if you're still on and if that answered your question. If not, hopefully you can make it back. I'll tag you and make sure that you make it back. All right. Okay. So he knows what it means. He just doesn't have the empathy to extend to others. Absolutely. Remember that autism spectrum disorder, above anything else that it is a social disorder. It is a child's or a human being's inability to understand, operate in, and fulfill social norms, right? Things like body language, which we call nonverbal cues. So understanding that if you get too close to me and I do this, that means I don't want you close to me. It does not mean come closer to me. It means that if I fall out of a chair, everybody may want to laugh, but you first come to me and ask me, are you okay, before you commit to laughing. Right. And so that he may just not be able to have the, oh no, I'm sorry, that would typically go with it. So he's just like, I'm sorry. And it doesn't mean that he doesn't feel it. He just may not have the facial expressions and other emotions that those of us who have nonverbal and emotional IQs that are higher, that he, he just can't tap into those. All right. Anything else, guys? So hopefully we know the big deal, what it is about ADHD, why it is such a big deal. Hopefully you understand now that it is a big deal. It is about so much more than just grades. And it is about life. It's about life. We've got Miss Megan Simone McPherson watching. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for coming in. I think I have addressed everyone who has said something. Miss Melissa Ann was watching, and Miss Rhea Nicole, Nikisha Tarver. Who else we got? I think I've caught just about everybody else. Any questions anybody has? If you've ordered a book, your book was mailed on yesterday. So don't worry about that. They told me Thursday, but it'll probably be to you. Something's here trying to bother me. It'll probably be to you by no later than Monday. So it is on the way to you. Miss Rebecca, I'm sorry, can NVLD be diagnosed as ADHD? NVLD, nonverbal language disorder. Tell me what NVLD is. I don't know that acronym. See, acronyms are only as good as if both people know what they're saying. I don't know what NVLD, nonverbal learning disorder. Yes, nonverbal learning disorder. I've never seen that like that, but I use enough context clues to figure it out. So can nonverbal learning disorder be diagnosed as ADHD? I would imagine that a nonverbal learning disorder would not be mixed up with ADHD. It might be mixed up with autism because remember, when people see kids who don't talk or who don't make eye contact, that's the first thing they assume. When in fact, a kid could not talk or could not speak verbally. They could have selective mutism. They could have an anxiety disorder. There could be a number of reasons that a child won't speak. They could have a hearing delay or hearing deficit, because remember, what we say is a product of what we hear. And so if we don't hear it all, we don't know what language sounds like. Some of us say words incorrectly because that's how everybody in our house says them. And it all started with one person being deaf. And of course, they often have speech impediments. And so that's what everybody around them, all the kids sound like the one person who happens to be deaf, even though they are not. Had this one family, all the kids have British accents. Have no idea how that happened because they're in a rural part of Alabama. But they do. They all have British accents and they are real, genuine. So I would imagine that a nonverbal language disorder would not necessarily be diagnosed with ADHD. Hopefully that was helpful. Thanks for that question. That was a good one. All right. Anything else? If there's nothing else, don't forget Shine. Get your copy of Shine, Understanding ADHD so your child can be a star. Yes, we always love to have you get one of those. And I always get excited when parents say, and I read in your book, and I'm like, whoa, they read in my book. They read in my book. Yay, I love it. Dr. Lish Wills, y'all, that is Dr. Lish Wills. In case you missed it, that is my classmate from high school, and she just earned her doctorate in education. Yes, she is a college professor, so we want to say kudos to you. She's been a friend and a fan of our show for some time. Did not even know she was working on her doctorate, and then, honey, she appeared in this long robe, and I was like, oh my goodness, look at this girl right here. So I love it, I love it, I love it. But she says this has been phenomenal as usual. I learn something every time I tune in. So glad to be back on Facebook and able to tune in. Absolutely. And I missed you. Definitely. I always love having educators here so that they can back me in some of this crazy talk that I talk about in my pseudo educator hat. But congratulations to you. Glad to see you back. Miss Michelle says, if I find the crap my kids watch, they pick up the way that they talk. Absolutely. So, right. So a lot of kids were watching Peppa Pig and having British accents. And whatever else they're saying, they pick up the slang of what they're watching. And so that's why really got to be careful. And my mama is all over it, honey. They said something about Roblox on the Today Show, and she told me about this. So she really wants us to be engaged, and you absolutely should. And so, grandparents, that's what we really appreciate you all, because we're so busy trying to keep up with the demands of our jobs and just juggling all these different activities we have these kids in. So sometimes it's good to have somebody who's not caught up in the middle of all of that, to be, to be a third eye and give us a perspective of, did you see him when he did this? Did you see her when she did this? That's really good. We appreciate that, because it really does take everybody. And I'm not just going to say you want anybody in your village, because some of the people in your village do not parent the way that you do. But for all the people who parent and think about raising kids and what it means to be a productive citizen that are in your village, welcome their opinion, welcome their help, welcome their help, welcome their help, because we all need help. We all need breaks. Let's see. Lish Will says, thank you. Michelle says, Fortnite is banned in my house. My kids have not gotten into that, so we're good there. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, guys, remember ADHD is a big deal. It is right now. It has been for a long time. And until we get more people embracing that it is real and that it exists, from the White House to the State House to medical school to the classroom to the house, until everybody is on board with understanding that and understanding the need to treat it, we are going to continue to struggle. But you're here. It's not by coincidence. It's not by happenstance. You are making a difference in the life of your child. And even if you're not at the point where you have decided, okay, it's so bad that we want to treat it, or I'm not there yet, or I need to learn more, you're learning now. And that is very much the first step in, just getting the education. And that's what I say in my closing. So here goes. I'm Dr. Brandy B, your triple board certified pediatrician, adult psychiatrist, and child and adolescent psychiatrist. And through my Facebook live stream, Focus on It Friday, which is every Friday, 12 noon Central Standard Time, I help worried moms, dads, educated loved ones of anybody who cares about a child with ADHD. I help them to get the education that they need so that they can help their children be successful and shine in the classroom and in life. Be careful, be safe, keep shining, keep doing what you're doing. You're already excellent at it, and you have everything you need to be a fantastic parent and grandparent. I appreciate you all. I love each and every one of you. I do have one request. If I see your child at a clinic, call that clinic. My children check my Facebook. The dog that I don't have check the Facebook. I may not see the Facebook until the crisis is over. Please call the clinic. The nurses are there. They are willing to help you. Because Friday, y'all, is my off day. I don't work on Fridays. So I don't want to turn over to Facebook and see somebody talking about so-and-so is out of medicine. I don't want to see that. There is a route for you to do that. Please be respectful of me and take advantage of that route. I love y'all. I'll see you next week. Bye.